How many years?
Good morning. I now invite the college choir to lead us in the college hymn. now invite our Director of SCAL Programs, Dr. Gitanjali Sethi, to address us.
Thank you, Sarah. Our chief guest for the day, Honorable Foreign Secretary, Government of India, respected ambassadors, high commissioners, joint secretaries, the governing body members, the principal, alumni, colleagues, students, guests, the fellows of the program, and everyone who is here and is watching the live telecast of this inaugural function online. On behalf of St. Stephen's Center for Advanced Learning, SCAL as we are known as, I welcome you all to this inaugural function of first of its kind fellowship program, St. Stephen's Young Leaders Neighbourhood-First Fellowship Program 2022. It's indeed a moment of great pride and honor for us to host the ITech Fellowship Program. SCAL was set up in 2019, and since then, we've been successfully conducting certificate and diploma programs for professionals. But it's for the first time that we are conducting this fellowship program with the support of ITech, the MEA, and the Government of India. I'm very grateful to you for your support, but I'm also very grateful to our principal for all the encouragement that he has given us for hosting this international program. May I now request our bursar, Dr. Gayatri, to please present the bouquet to the chief guest. A very warm welcome to all of you again. I would not take much time, but I would like to call upon our principal to please address the gathering. Thank you.
Respected and Honorable Foreign Secretary, Government of India, Shri Harshvardhan Shringla, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Bangladesh, Shri Mohammad Imran, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Sri Lanka, Shri Milinda Moragoda, Madam Moragoda, members of the governing body of St. Stephen's College, my colleagues, junior members, alumni, members of the college community, guests, media persons, and especially my dear first fellows of St. Stephen's College. Greetings and good morning to all of you. It is a historic moment for our college, and as we get ready to begin the first St. Stephen's Young Leaders Neighbourhood-First Fellowship Program. I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of this important event. I also want to extend my thanks to the many who are online attending this program. It is not only a pleasure, but it is also my duty to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Harshvardhan Shringler, today. It's a great pleasure because the launch of this fellowship marks a milestone in college's continued efforts towards pioneering higher education in this country. In that sense, college continues to do its job in its 141st year in a determined manner. It is my duty to welcome our honored chief guest today because he has been instrumental in helping college put this fellowship together. Almost 18 months ago, when I had first broached this topic with him, he was so very encouraging, and he asked me to go ahead with the proposal. And all through these months, including the difficult COVID period that all of us have been through, there were many discussions and, of course, documentation, but his support has been constant and unwavering. Therefore, if we are all gathered here today for the launch of this fellowship, it is only right that this fellowship be launched by one of its co-creators, the Foreign Secretary himself. From all of us here in college, sir, and also from future generations, we want to say thank you to you. Shri Harshvardhan Shringler is a former student of this college. That should be a sufficient introduction because he is a fine example of what the college stands for: excellence and service. He assumed charge as the Foreign Secretary of India on the 29th of January 2020. But even before that, and during his 37 years of a diplomatic career, he has held and delivered important responsibilities with a quiet efficiency. Before taking charge as the Foreign Secretary, he served as India's ambassador to the United States. He was ambassador to Bangladesh and the Kingdom of Thailand before that, and has held several assignments in France, the United States, Vietnam, Israel, and South Africa. He has also, among his many other responsibilities, headed the United Nations political and SAARC divisions. There is a clear understanding and a refined manner of engagement in all of his dealings, something that I have had the pleasure of experiencing firsthand, and which all of you will, though only briefly, experience shortly through what he will share with us. Sir, I'm honored to have you deliver the inaugural address And I welcome you to do that, sir. Welcome.
Principal of St. Stephen's College, Dr. John Varghese, I want to thank you for your very warm words of welcome. Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, High Commissioners of Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Maldives, and Nepal, Director of the St. Stephen's Center for Advanced Learning, Dr. Gitanjali Sethi, the Bursar of the College, Dr. Gaite, members of the governing board and faculty of St. Stephen's College, and students, my colleagues from the Ministry of External Affairs, participants of the Young Leaders Neighbourhood-First Fellowship Program, ladies and gentlemen, namaskar and good morning. At the very outset, let me begin by thanking Principal Dr. John Varghese and the St. Stephen's College faculty for inviting me to deliver the address, the inaugural address at the St. Stephen's College Young Leaders Neighbourhood-First Fellowship Program. I'm delighted to be back in these hallowed portals after 4 decades since I was a student here. I also want to specially acknowledge the excellent performances by the college NCC team and the choir that performed just before we began the formal program. Let me also felicitate college for taking the initiative to set up the Neighbourhood Fellowship Program. This is a very unique initiative, which, as Dr. Varghese pointed out, began 18 months ago when the idea was mooted by him. From the point of view of the Ministry of External Affairs, this seemed to be an excellent way of bringing together some of the finest minds in our neighborhood and providing them with the opportunity of a curriculum that involves an exposure to the best of what our country can offer. The program is being organized under the auspices of the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program of the Ministry of External Affairs, and the program is in keeping with India's Neighbourhood-First policy. I understand that 21 professionals from our neighboring countries are participating in the program. This group is special for a number of reasons. It is a pioneering group. It is a carefully selected group composed of very accomplished individuals. It is a young group. It is a representative group. Very importantly, it is a group that represents our hopes for the future. We are also meeting at a very special institution. St. Stephen's College is a center of learning. Its reputation is based on an established record of promoting excellence. It is a college that is known for the high quality of its curriculum and instruction. It has, to use an analogy from advertising, very strong brand equity in its domain. It is refreshing for me to be back in an academic atmosphere. The world of education is an exciting one because it is a unique combination of continuity and change. There are some values that are eternal and have remained constant in the world. It is also a world that must adapt rapidly to the swiftly changing realities of contemporary life in order to remain relevant. They have to remain ahead of the curve. They must be the crucibles where the future is forged. The nomenclature of the program captures the spirit of the program. It contains both our priorities and our aspirations. Two of our central priorities in our neighborhood, as I referred to earlier, are our neighborhood and the focus on the youth. Our aspiration is to ensure a better future for the generations that will succeed us. Our aspiration is also to do what we can to equip those who will manage our tomorrow with the intellectual resources to deal with their complex responsibilities. The burdens you will face, I'm sure, will be heavy. All of us and the nations that we come from are neighbors. We share a geographical space, we share resources and commons. We also share a heritage and history. I believe that we share a common outlook in the manner we approach life. I also believe that we share the aspirations I referred to. These commonalities and shared aspirations underlie India's Neighbourhood-First policy. At the instance of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, India accords the highest priority to our relations with the countries represented here, namely Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Maldives, and Sri Lanka, and to other countries in our neighborhood. It is these countries that come first and foremost among our foreign policy priorities. It is in this theater that the largest share of diplomatic resources, time, manpower, programs, and financial resources are deployed. It is with these countries, broadly speaking, that we work most closely with. I have mentioned our shared aspirations to ensure a better future for succeeding generations. In the spirit of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, India believes that its prosperity and growth is linked to that of its neighbors. We cannot develop unless our neighbors develop. We strongly believe that economic good is not just good in itself, it will also create win-win propositions for the region that will address many of the negativities that we confront. Our region is one in which many countries have demonstrated extremely impressive rates of economic growth. Several of us have had transformational journeys. Many of us are wealthier, healthier, and better educated than we were before. These advances have been made in the face of the challenges that we have all faced. We have learned during our journeys that many of these problems have the same solutions. Thinking about these shared challenges and solutions and developing the will to apply these solutions on scale while keeping in mind national sensitivities and the requirements of sovereignty is one of the most major challenges that we face together. Youth, like the fellows in this program, are another central priority for us. We are a young region. At least quarter, and more frequently, about 40% of our populations in these countries that are represented in this room are under the age of 18. The majority of our populations are under the age of 30. This points to an incredibly rich and dynamic human resource base. It also points to a highly productive population base that has driven the economic progress that I have referred to earlier. People like you and the demography that we represent are our hopes for the future. We are, because of this combination of demographic and economic conjunction, at a point in our national and economic journey where much is possible. India is determined to make positive contributions towards seizing the moment. This moment of opportunity is accompanied by the major policy challenge of constructing a response. That challenge requires all of us to work together. That is why we have worked with St. Stephen's College and its Center for Advanced Learning in supporting this innovative program in which you are all participating. The idea behind the program is to bring together young people from across our region with the intention of building capacities and harnessing energies and aspirations. It is an effort that will add to networks and contacts that will contribute to generating goodwill. It is an effort to encourage young people to think of common solutions for common problems. The fellowship has accordingly been designed to expose you to thought leaders in India, to cutting-edge thinking, to best practices and frontline institutions and processes that deal with the most challenging issues of the day. We believe that the policy studies approach will add value to this program. It is an interdisciplinary approach. It combines an academic perspective with that of a practitioner. It also brings in combined and hybrid perspectives. It brings in governmental and non-governmental approaches. It involves interaction with state institutions and civil society. It brings in a diverse and carefully considered set of topics. India has, as you might be aware, a cluster of world-class institutions and capabilities. We would like to bring you in touch with them. We would also like this to be a two-way process. We have a lot to learn from our neighbors and their efforts. You have all been selected because we believe you represent the future as young leaders. We believe that you will go on to stations of great responsibility and influence. We would therefore like to hear from you. We would like to understand your perspectives and your priorities. We would like to listen to your ideas about how we can craft solutions and institutions that contribute to our goal of building a better tomorrow. We are also confident that this process of exchanging views and perceptions will build on existing formal and informal efforts to work together. We expect that the fellowship will contribute to the creation of additional formal and informal institutions and networks. It will contribute to creating an ecosystem of young people who are invested in the well-being of our region. These will all help in dealing with the challenges of an increasingly interlinked and borderless future. Rabindranath Tagore, who is respected across the region and who wrote the national anthem of two of our countries, India and Bangladesh, said, and I quote, "Age considers, youth ventures," unquote. We hope that the program in this spirit will foster innovation and ambitious 21st century thinking and outlooks. We are confident that the course content of the program, which has been constructed with considerable effort and attention to detail, will meet these requirements. We are also confident that this innovation will augment the variety and relevance of the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program. We offer training slots of varying lengths and levels on a large scale of subjects. We work hard to make sure that our development partnership initiatives are responsive to the demands of our partner states. We are confident that this fellowship, which also arose in response to demand, will be popular. The focus of this program begins with our friends in the neighborhood and reinforces another component of our thought, namely that globalization for India begins with our neighborhood. We inhabit a world that has been redefined by the pandemic. We do not know what the future holds for us. We do know, however, that we are required to be more resilient, more agile, and more alert. It also provides us a model for future cooperation. When the dust settles, the international cooperation behind the unprecedented speed with which a vaccine was developed and the scale of that vaccination effort will become a benchmark for responses to problems that might emerge on this scale. This program is one of the first initiatives we are supporting in our attempt to live with the newer post-pandemic realities. We hope that you will develop a part of your time to considering how we can be innovative and effective in dealing with future black swan events of this nature. I would like to end by referring to our great spiritual leader, Swami Vivekananda. Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji recently quoted him saying, I quote here, "My faith is the younger generation, the modern generation," unquote. This is as true today as when Swami Vivekananda first said this. I would like to thank St. Stephen's College for developing this program. In particular, Principal Dr. John Varghese, who took this initiative, as I said, 18 months ago, when he came with a few of his colleagues. We discussed the proposition and we haven't looked back since. And it's a matter of great satisfaction to see this program enter into fruition today with the presence of so many of our brilliant young fellows from the neighborhood. I wish them all success in conducting the program, wish the participants all success in this pioneering effort that you are launching today. I would like to thank all of my colleagues in the Ministry of External Affairs, our heads of missions in neighboring countries for working to make this innovative program a success. I would in particular like to mention the contribution of Dr. Anupam Ray, who headed our policy planning division, but has now gone off to represent us as a master in the Conference for Disarmament in Geneva. But his successor, Dr. Sumit Seth, has worked equally hard to make this program a success. And I want to take this opportunity to both thank and felicitate him, as I would some of our joint secretaries dealing with the neighborhood, Sri Anurag Srivastav and Sri Karthik Pandey, who are here with us today. Lastly, I wish all of you a pleasant and rewarding stay in India. I hope that you will find this program useful. I must say that the High Commissioners and Masters of your country who are here, High Commissioner of Bangladesh, Master of Nepal, High Commissioner of Sri Lanka, have all been partners in collaborating with us on pioneering efforts of this nature. I would like to thank all of them, and undoubtedly you will be in touch with them and they themselves will take an active interest in this course. I hope that you will refer to your participation. I'm talking to the participants in it with pride in the years ahead. I hope you will recommend it to your compatriots. We also hope you will remain in touch with us and the friends and contacts that you make in India. We would certainly like to remain in touch with you. I wish you all the very best, individually and collectively. I'm happy to see that our college continues its tradition of excellence, and I'm looking forward to seeing a little more of college when we end the program. But thank you all very much. Namaskar and good day to everyone.
Respected sir, from all of us, please accept our thanks for spelling out the guiding principles and values on which the fellowship has been planned, evolved, and on the basis of which it will be conducted. From all of us, sir, thank you. And I would like to assure you, sir, and the ITEC and the joint secretaries who are representing the different departments, that college will continue to do its best so that we carry the light of knowledge and the light of service into the world. From all of us here in college, and on behalf of all of us in college, I would like to present to our Honorable Foreign Secretary a symbol and a token that is much coveted, but very few earn it. This is the college crest. And from all of us,
Sir, I would like to.
Thank you, sir. We have 21 fellows with us, but looking at the time constraint, we decided to have 2 of them talking to the gathering. So I'll invite first Mr. Wangchuk from Bhutan to please come up and share his experience or address the gathering, please. Mr. Wangchuk.
Before I begin, I would just like to state that these are actually my aunt's glasses. I broke my glasses one day before I had to come to India. We are currently in a lockdown, so I could not even go and purchase a new pair. So if at any point in my speech you see me getting dizzy, please know that it's because of the glasses and not because I'm nervous to be speaking in front. Honorable Foreign Secretary, distinguished guests, faculty and students of St. Stephen's, and of course, my dear fellows of the Young Leaders Neighbourhood-First Fellowship. I would like to begin by listing everything that it took for me and my colleagues from Bhutan to be able to be here at St. Stephen's College in Delhi. First, travel clearance from at least 2 different agencies, one of which was simply to use a car to get the test for COVID. One COVID test that took 3 hours, emails to at least 4 different agencies, including follow-up, about 4 combined hours of calling and waiting for timely approval, catching a 7 a.m. flight from Paro to Delhi, which meant waking up at 1:30 a.m. to catch a bus to the airport. I have to admit, I slept only 30 minutes because of the excitement to be here in Delhi. And from what we learned from our colleagues from Sri Lanka about how they had only 1 samosa the entire day before they got here. Now I take pains to list this because when we look at the root cause of what set all of these in motion, we know undoubtedly that it is because of COVID. Although it is a recent experience, personally, I believe that it is one of many and the most visible manifestation that shows just truly how dramatic the change has been in our world. We can no longer say that we are interconnected, but that we are hyper-connected. That's why it's no longer possible to say that this one issue affects only one person, one community, or one country, as has been clearly evident by the pandemic, as well as the war in Ukraine, which is unfolding as we speak and continues to affect every single one of us, even on the other side of the globe. The reaction to this dizzying pace of change has been sometimes this temptation to give in to our act of retreating, giving in to our worst impulses, and choosing selfishness and self-centeredness. It is against these contexts that I find this program deeply meaningful, because it stands against our worst impulses and chooses instead sharing, exchange of ideas and experiences, expanding our horizons. It recognizes the beauty in diversity and the complexity. Above all, I believe that it is an act of courage. Yesterday, Sir John Varghese spoke about how this program is an act of reaching out to the world by reaching out to its neighbors first, as is reflected in the name itself, Young Leaders Neighborhood-First Fellowship Program. And we also learned yesterday that this act of reaching out goes back 141 years to the foundations of St. Stephen's itself. That's why, on behalf of my colleagues and my cohort, I'd like to state what an extreme honor and privilege it is to be in this deeply rich and historic place. And I think it is fair to say on behalf of my colleagues and cohort that we will give our best to reciprocate this honor and privilege by bearing the responsibilities that come along with it with a lot of joy, excellence, as well as service. And I believe that that is only deserving of being the first ever fellows of St. Stephen's College. Thank you. Tashtili.
Thank you, Mr. Wangchuk. Now we'll have Mr. Ramjan Maulana from Sri Lanka.
His Excellency Sri Harshvardhan Shringla, the Foreign Secretary of the Government of India, Their Excellencies the High Commissioner of Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, His Excellency the Ambassador of Nepal, the Joint Secretaries of the Ministry of External Affairs and ITEC, esteemed members of the governing body of St. Stephen's College, Professor John Varghese, the Principal of St. Stephen's College, Dr. Geetanjali Sethi, Director ESCAL, respected faculty and members of the alumni, staff, students, my fellow colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, namaskar, and allow me to greet you in the traditional greetings of my home country, Sri Lanka. Ayubowan, Vanakkam, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good morning to all of you. My name is Amjad Maulana, and I am truly proud to stand before you as a representative of my country, Sri Lanka, and moreover, as a member of the pioneer group of the first 20 fellows of St. Stephen's College through the YLNF program. Yesterday at our orientation, Professor Varghese gave us an inspiring and succinct outline of the college, its rich history, traditions, and heritage, and went on to give us insight of the many contributions the college has made through its students and distinguished alumni to be a fundamental cornerstone in shaping India as it stands today. Further, Professor Varghese spoke about taking St. Stephen's to the world, through which the expansion of thoughts, ideals, and concepts that find root here at St. Stephen's can be further studied, explored, shared, contemplated, and thereafter implemented worldwide. The 20 fellows gathered here today encapsulate that vision. We hail from all corners of the Indian subcontinent and represent a diverse cross-section of experiences and fields. From public administration to law enforcement, from social workers to policymakers and shapers, we have them all. Might I also add that the 20 of us, thankfully, have a great sense of humor and camaraderie, which will hopefully make the next 3 months fly by. It may be wishful thinking as it's only been 2 days, but So far, so good. As we just heard from Riksar, my colleague, the 20 of us have our own unique 20 stories to tell. So in the interest of time, I believe he has encapsulated them pretty well. I won't expand on it further. Since we arrived, the last 2 days have been a whirlwind, which I'm sure applies to all of my peers. Meeting all of them, sharing our background and like-minded thoughts, and moreover, interacting with Professor Varghese, Dr. Geetanjali, and the rest of the staff and students here has been an absolute treat. At this juncture, on behalf of all of my colleagues, I wish to convey our sincere and heartfelt gratitude to the Government of India, particularly the Foreign Secretary, the respective officials of the Ministry of External Affairs, the ITEC program, our respective Indian missions overseas, and of course, the St. Stephen's College and the St. Stephen's College Center for Advanced Learning as a whole for the gargantuan task undertaken over the last 18 months since the conceptualization of this program and affording us all with this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Last but not the least, we wish to convey our utmost personal gratitude to Professor Varghese, Dr. Geetanjali, Mr. Samuel Davidson, and the staff and students here at St. Stephen's who have gone out of their way with their unwavering and warm hospitality to make our stay memorable and comfortable. I wish to leave you finally with just one thought. At our orientation yesterday, Professor Varghese spoke to us about the power of one voice or what one individual can do. And I was remembered of a quote from former President Barack Obama, which resonated from his famous 2008 presidential campaign. And I quote, "One voice can change a room. And if one voice can change a room, then it can change a city. And if it can change a city, it can change a state. And if it can change a state, it can change a nation. And if it can change a nation, it can change the world. Your voice can change the world," unquote. Let us never underestimate the power of one voice. And I look forward to finding our own voices here to get together over the next 3 months and thereafter take our voices to the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Amjad. I would like to express my sincere thanks to the Foreign Secretary, the Ministry of External Affairs, the ITEC, all the Joint Secretaries, the ambassadors and the High Commissioners, and the Indian missions in all 5 participating countries for making this fellowship program a reality. From the day we floated the form to the launch today, all of you extended your support in different ways to make it possible for us to run this international program. I'm really grateful and really thankful to you for that. And I thank everybody online and in this hall for coming and encouraging us to start with this first of its kind program. Thank you. I would request all of you to please stand for the national anthem. And I would invite the choir to lead us. Thank you, everyone. I would like to invite you for a cup of tea in the mess lawns just outside the hall. But please, I request you to keep standing till the chief guest withdraws from the